Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As I was about to title today's video, we're here to talk all things Takeover in NBA 2K24, and I gotta say there is a lot of it as well. So, in today's video, we have put all of just anything that Mike Wang has tweeted in relation to Takeover in 2K24. We're gonna do a lot of these different little subcategories for other videos if you guys want to stay tuned for those as well. I'm gonna be doing 5 different videos in total of this, where in video 1 that you're on right now, we're talking about Takeover. Then we'll be talking about finishing, shooting, playmaking, and defense in 4 other videos to just allow you guys to digest the information a little bit easier, and it's all in its own little separate category, so you know when you're clicking on the video, you're getting information about that topic. So I'm making it a little bit more simple than to just be clicking on 10 different videos, obviously, that are all just kind of scattered random information based on each day to day. This is an accumulation of pretty much weeks that I've waited on to now make videos like this. So I hope y'all enjoy. If you do, for the drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all good stuff, and like always, try to one to 2,000 likes. Alright, so let's start things off. Now, what I've done is I've bookmarked every Takeover related thing that Mike Wang has tweeted about or replied to and put it in a bookmark tab of just Takeover right here. So I will explain some of the stuff that was in this, but shout out to Joe Knows for letting me know. I asked him because I saw he made a video and he used clips straight out of this, and come to find out the audio is copyrighted, so I can't exactly show you guys that straight up, but what I will do is give you guys a quote out of it that I really thought was interesting. Alright, so to start us off, I want to talk about this. So I pretty much pulled it straight out of that video that I was just showing, like I was explaining, Joe was saying it was copyrighted. So these are the quotes straight out of it. Instead of assigning a takeover ability as part of a build process, now you can choose a category of attributes to boost on the fly. Now that is where things get a little bit odd, right? Because then I'll come back to the bookmark real quick, and that's where T'Challa here is asking, please tell me it depends on the build. You can't just have access to all the takeovers with the stats and badges. That's just crazy. Now, in this, Mike Wang kind of backtracks a little bit while also confronting, you know, someone that's disappointed with hearing the news that he just explained, because obviously he's like telling him like, yeah, that's pretty much how it is, bud. Like, sorry. So long story short, he says the rating boost you get with the takeover selection just stacks on top of what you already have. So obviously, you know, like let's say you got 25 rebounding, even if you get a plus 10, it's only 35. That's pretty much what he's saying right here. If you have a dog rebound rating, for example, selecting the defense / rebounding take will give you a little less of a bum on the boards, or make you a little bit less of the bum on the boards, but you'll still kind of be a bum. So long story short, he was pretty much saying, yes, that is how it's going to work. And yes, you can be someone that gets the defense takeover, even if you're super tall. Now that's the thing too, right? Now it's not lock take, it's not rim take anymore. It's just the defensive takeover. And that's where I want to segue to this one that I pulled out of the quotes right here. When you fill up the takeover meter, you can choose between finishing, shooting, playmaking, defense, and rebounding, or physicals. If you delay the takeover and you fill up double takeover, you can choose 2 different takeover categories of ratings to boost. So, like, essentially, obviously, you know how that works. But to come back to this one right here, obviously, they have now separated the physicals into a different takeover. Like a lot of you guys know, the first video I make on every year of 2K is showing all attributes boosted by every takeover. So, for instance, for the last couple of years, slashing and lockdown have been the ones that boost your speed, acceleration, you know, physical stuff like that at a very, very high rate in comparison to the others. Obviously, the others are only giving you +5s because that's just what you get standard with every takeover. Now, I'm under the impression that that's also not the case anymore. I'm under the impression you're not getting +5s on everything, and then +8 for the important ones that actually play factor to your takeover chosen. Like if you have Sharp, you know, getting +8 3-pointer, and then everybody else gets +5. I'm under the impression that now it is not the case where even if you chose finishing takeover, you get +5 3-pointer. I think it's just 0 now, and you're only getting rating boosts in the category that it actually applies to. Now, obviously, when the game comes out, we will 100% check that, and you guys can be sure to check it out from me, because I'm definitely going to be posting that as soon as the game comes out. But anyway, I just wanted to say that's a very interesting thing that like physicals are now separate from other takeovers, because that definitely nerfs down finishing and defense takeovers quite a bit. Like if the physicals don't come with them, that's pretty tough for like the argument of running these over Sharp Take. Like Sharp Take, the only reason it's not like the absolute kingpin must have ridiculously broken badge of every single takeover you could possibly apply here is because the only thing it boosts is 3-pointer in mid-range and then free throw. Like that's at least something finishing and defense had going for themselves, is that you get +8 driving lay, driving dunk, standing dunk, close shot, speed, excel, vertical, strength. Like you would get all those things, bro. But Now it's obviously going to be condensed just down to the finishing stuff, if that is the case, and that definitely nerfs it in a sense, 100%. But what is boosted up by the fact that you have also these things categorized into one thing is that finishing takeover is now going to be applying to things like post control, post hook, post fade. I think maybe post fade will get split up into the shooting instead, but you get what I'm saying. Same with obviously lockdown takeover and rim takeover. They're pretty much combined into the same thing now. So you are still getting something significant out of this. Now, the one thing that's odd man out at that point is playmaking takeover, because that's not getting combined in anything. Like finishing is getting combined with post scoring. Defense is getting combined like lockdown with rim. Shooting is already good, and it's probably just combining like shot and sharp pretty much. Playmaking, it seems to be the odd man out. I don't think it has a partner, to be honest with you. And I don't know. That might be kind of tragic and garbage, but we'll see obviously when we load up the game. And then again, physicals separate of anything else. So definitely let me know what you guys think of all that information right there. I also don't know in terms of applying your takeover. Like let's say for instance in this year's game, a lot of people ran sharp primary / secondary in the stage, because what they would do is they would run like the 3-out offense of just like, you know, ISO, and they would pretty much rim run for easy dunks early on. They would build up their takeover and get their sharp take like quicker by the fact they're running / take secondary. Now some people were keen to this, some weren't. I'm sure if you're watching this, some know about this, some don't, right? But if you choose something as your secondary takeover, you would get what applies to your primary first, like, or easier, I should say. So again, sharp primary / secondary, it gets takeover on a dunk faster than sharp primary, sharp secondary. Just understand it like that, right? Or obviously for me, I run double / take, so I was able to just get like takeover a lot faster for dunks than I would 3-pointers. Whereas if you run double sharp take, you get takeover a lot faster for 3s than dunks. That's what I'm trying to get at here. I don't think that's a thing anymore. I don't think you even equip a takeover anymore, because again, he just said you can equip whatever takeover you want once you get it, and it's all just like you get to choose it on the fly, right? So that'll be interesting for sure. Let me know what you guys think of that. But anyway, moving along, our takeover perks in the game, yes, but some of the OP ones have been toned down. So let's think, what are OP takeover perks? Accelerator, obviously, right? I think like the only one you could even consider to be overpowered is Accelerator, if you ask me. I think Extender was a good one, but it's not like seen as something crazy. Juice was known as a pretty good one as well. I think I was a big fan of Sponge as like a sleeper one, but like there was no reason to run it because Accelerator was so good. So I definitely like the idea of balancing some takeovers. Let's go to my tier list real quick, the very last one I did. Alright, so as you can see, I would say anything above B tier or in B tier was considered good in my opinion, and I would say S tier was the only broken one, or like, you know, super OP. So if Accelerator gets like nerfed in a sense and brings it somehow down into the B, like the A tier or B tier, I'm all for that 100%. I'm down for a world where people are actually running Saboteur on their locks and back ends like over Accelerator because it's just better for them to run. I'm all for a world where Extender and Accelerator are on the same page of like overpoweredness, and you just get to choose between whether you want it to be longer or if you want it to come quicker. Pause on that. But anyway, we obviously have then Juice, which was really good for like boosting up your ratings. Who knows if that's even still in the game, if they're talking about the way Takeover works in this game, but I'm intrigued by that. Juice could really play into the fact that Takeover works how it does in this game if it's still in there. And then Sponge, I just, you know, made a video on this as well. I called it Accelerator Junior because you pretty much get it through your teammates doing good things rather than yourself. And I gotta say, in the early portion of the year, I was running Sponge, and it was absolutely my favorite takeover perk to run when I didn't have Accelerator like unlocked. So we'll see, man. I think a lot of these have really good, valid ways to like make themselves all in the same playing field, 100%. Like I can see a world where that is a thing. And then anything below B tier though, like in the Decelerator, Minimizer, Second Chance, Stay Warm, and Suppressor, I don't know, bro. I just think they're always going to be garbage, to be real with you. Decelerator can be good. It's just like they got to increase the range of it. Like it's got to be a lot like more like wide than you have to be in their face to like slow down their takeover progress. This annoyed me a lot as a slasher though, like a pure slasher, because when people would like sit underneath the rim or like I would dunk on them or near them, I still get takeover significantly slower. So it was very easy to do against me. Whereas for someone who is like a really good shooting build, you obviously have to respect their three. They run by you, they quick drop. You're not in Decelerator range at that point. So it benefits like those types of players way more than it benefits me, because I am hurt by Decelerator a lot when people are guarding me. But either way, like that's just a very niche thing. I'm the only one that doesn't like being guarded by Decelerator probably. But anyway, just figured I'd put this in the video and talk about some of the takeover perks, bring up the tier list that I made and stuff like that as well. But anyway, moving forward, we have things like the team takeover. So right here, we have a lot of softies, in my opinion. I personally like the way team takeover worked, and I thought you could actually utilize a lot of things with it in my career. Like, for instance, when you would get team takeover in my career, you can user control the like your point guard, right? If you're a big man. So like, let's say I'm a center and I'm going for my finishing badges, but it's really hard to get them to throw me alley-oops without like being able to control the other like point guard on my team. So then if I can control LeBron or something like that and use my own player as a pick and roller, I can throw an alley-oop to him. I can set him up for an easy pick and pop. I can do whatever I want with that, right? But now, as you can see, a lot of complaining here, like yada yada. Most of us don't like team controlled takeover when we are using my career NBA games. Yada yada. Forgot to mention this one. There's a takeover menu in the game that lets you set whether you stay locked to your my player or control the whole team when team takeover gets activated. So that's a good compromise. I like that because obviously, like I just said, someone for me, I actually like the fact that you can control the whole team. And obviously with this, he's giving you an option whether you are going to be able to control the whole team or you only want to still just control your one guy while all of your team is on team takeover. So that's good. Obviously, we like that 100%. Right here, we got Wargle Blurgle. That's what my boy GV calls him, and Tonic and all that too. J-Bleg, he's pretty well known in the community for like looking like a bot, quote unquote, with this like profile picture. But anyway, as you can see, do you guys have any info on Team Take? Will it work the same as in 2K23? Also, will it give you double take? And if you have Mamba Mentality where you receive the +10 to all attributes once your Team Take is activated as well. I'm not sure what Mamba Mentality has to do with any of that, to be real with you. But long story short, he's asking, are you getting double take when Team Take is active? So the answer to this question appears to be no. It's not activating double takeover anymore. It's only going to do your primary right here, as you can see. So like without him even really answering yes or no, I'm trying to decipher a little bit between this. So to read the whole thing real quick, Team Take works the same as last year. Everybody contributes to the meter and it auto fires off when full. Actions that contribute to the meter were reworked though, so it's tougher to get, which in my opinion already was kind of hard to get, as is, but like at the beginning of the year it wasn't by any means, but for the majority of the year it was pretty hard to get in my opinion. Anyway, when you get it, each player gets boosted in their primary specialty decided by a formula. So I'm guessing like that primary specialty is exactly what we're talking about with the whole like you get to pick thing with the single takeover, whereas in Team Take it would appear that it's probably more based on what you actually did. Now in my opinion, I think takeover would be better if it were to just literally work like that at all times. I feel like whatever you do should just apply to what you get personally, because then you don't have the rim runners that just get their sharp take off it, and then obviously you don't have like, I don't even think inverse of that really matters. I don't think people shooting their way into slash take is something people cry about or anything like that, but still just something that would have been a good food for thought in my opinion for 2K. But either way, it is what it is. So that's how that explanation all goes down and it's gonna work and stuff like that. But anyway, now we have the discussion of how to visually see your takeover. I actually like this a lot. This is a really good section right here. So this is in response to the tweet that we just looked at right here, and then he questions, will we be able to see individual player progress toward the team take meter? It'd be nice to know exactly what each player has to do to get team take. Obviously, like not many people even knew about this throughout the whole year for some reason still, but it was based on your teammate grade for the entire year. Like early on, I noticed it was like a B- is all you had to get in the beginning, or like an average of B across your whole team. Then it ended up becoming like an A- or something like that. And it had to be a minimum too. No one could be below like a B or like B-, something in that range. Even B+, I believe it might have actually been. I don't know. I don't have my facts straight on it, but I made a video and I know about it at the time. I'll tell you that much. But anyway, he said, we experimented with that idea, but the UI got really messy. The takeover meters have percentages on them now, so you can at least hop on the mic and tell people where you're at. So I am guessing this means that Team Take is based off of a collective percentage of everybody's individual takeover now, rather than teammate grade is what it was in last year's game. So I like that a lot. I like the fact that of two different things right here. I like that it's going to be applied to your actual takeover progress and everybody collectively is all grouping into that team takeover. Not to mention, I like the fact that it's going to show the percentage. I've seen multiple times this year where we playing Pro-Am and I'll be asking Tonic like, yo, how close are you to take? So pretty much it'd be like I'm at like 1/3, half, 2/3, something like that, right? Like little fraction situations like that. Not to mention, even if it was guessing based on like a percentage, he'll be like, you know, because it's easier to say I'm 90% rather than like 9/10 of the way there, like 4/5 or something like that, even though it's actually not the same fraction. But anyway, long story short, I like that you're actually able to see it and read it off rather than assuming and guessing just based off like the eye test. Now, it was a kind of cool thing that you could actually like eye test things like that, and it was something that you'd be keen to, as far as like just the more you play the game and the more you actually like nerd out about stuff like that, you'd kind of be able to tell and see like how far off you are off anything like that. Not to mention, what I really like about this is, like, let's say for instance, flashy dunks in last year's game for me. If you get a flashy dunk, it gives you more takeover than a regular dunk. So you'll actually be able to see the increase of percentage on things like that, or for instance what a shot does for you versus a like a 3 versus a mid-range versus a dunk versus a layup versus whatever the heck you'd be looking for. Not to mention all of that boosted in with like accelerator, or maybe you could even see what sponge is doing for you just off you doing nothing. You could see you got like 4% to your takeover just off you standing in the corner because your teammate got an assist and your teammate got a bucket, right? Something like that. So I like that you're actually being able to see percentages. You're going to be able to know exactly what you have to do if you're smart enough with it to get takeover by that logic. And I think that's going to be really good. So that's a big W. I love that for sure. Coming back to the takeover section now, obviously, like, you know, the bookmarks, whatever. So I got a couple that I want to talk about. It's going to be a little bit sloppy here, but we're going to get through it. So to talk about what you get for an exact attribute boost, he pretty much asked, we need a definitive number, bro, when he talked about, like, you know, essentially the ratings you'll be getting. So Mike Wang now said right here, you get 10 rating boost essentially to your primary things that will be getting boosted. Now again, I was under the impression that means that you're getting 0 to anything else. We'll see if it's 5 like it has been in previous years, where again, if you choose sharp take and you get plus 10, if you like would get plus 5 to your finishing stuff essentially, right? So anyway, that was something I was intrigued by, but at least 10 is the number that we now know for sure. And now let's go ahead and come back to this real quick. So like this guy asked, will there be any confirmation on the exact increase in attributes when the takeover bar is full and when it is activated? Mike Wang once again said 10-point boost, but not set in stone. We will evaluate based on feedback. This guy asked, so 10 points to all attributes or just the one based off takeover? I know he said R, but I'm guessing he meant or. Slashing take shouldn't increase shooting or defense or playmaking or anything else other than, well, slashing. So I kind of agree with him, and that's why, you know, alluding to the whole 0 for anything else. Mike Wing then responds in a very vague way and says the boosts are applied to the attributes associated with the category you choose. So I hope that means essentially, again, that it's plus 10 rating to what you chose and it's 0 to anything else. It would make sense. I think that's a pretty good way of going about things, but I guess we don't know that for a fact, to be honest. But anyway, now right here, as you can see, this guy asks, as I saw earlier, despite your build, you can get any take you want in game. So I play as an out of position power forward at 6'10 and 6'11. Will I get shot take if my midi isn't up high like that, or is there a limit? And then as you can see, Mike Wang says, you can choose any, just don't expect the shooting takeover to make you DeRozan if you're rocking a 25 mid-range shot. So once again, I just want to decipher some things real quick here. As you can see, we were just talking about the whole splitting shot and sharp take into the same thing. It appears that is the case. He responds with it as a shooting takeover rather than shot take, as this guy alluded to it in this. So long story short, it answers the same thing he was talking about with the rebounding one, where he used the word dog ratings as like bad, right? So if you have dog rebounding ratings, you're still going to be like, and then he used like the word bum as well. I thought it was funny to see those out of Mike. But anyway, he was pretty much talking about how obviously if you put rebounding take on your player, even if you have 25, it's just, yeah, sure going to put you to 35, but it's like the same difference. It's garbage. But I think he underestimates how much of an exploit that can be at some situations. Like, the difference between 75 3-pointer and 85 3-pointer is pretty massive, and the fact that you could get it on a 7-3 build, if that's the case, it's going to go a long way. That's all I'm saying. That might be a pretty big deal. Not to mention maybe like if we find out a certain threshold or like really important level of shooting is like, let's say 75, and maybe someone just puts 65 3-pointer on their build. That's a pretty big deal, and you could just go ahead and rock out with the sharp take. Like, I could have a build like that. That's maybe 50 3-pointer, and then boom, if you just feel like spacing the floor a little bit, boom, pop that sharp take and get out of the way. I don't expect myself to do that very much, but that is an idea. And then the last tweet we have in this category of the takeover discussion is pretty much my boy Zach here responded to it and asked, Do ratings exceed the 99 cap in Takeover on NBA 2K24? Mike responds, yes, Takeover can temporarily boost your ratings over 99 and it will make a difference. Boy, did I love hearing something like this, because it's been kind of like speculation in this 2K community for a long time, because Mike has never alluded to this or answered the question to this. Shout out to Zach. He got a W response out of this, bro. That's really big to finally hear this from Mike Wang. So that means that if Takeover can do it, does that mean that, let's say, for instance, GymRat can do it? So let's say you already have 99 speed on your build, right? But then if you get GymRat, does that turn your speed to 103 permanently? I'm not sure. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it feels. I'm sure with this note right here that we'll open up for some testing, and we'll definitely like check out a lot of things to do with that. Or for instance, like, you know, people will make the whole like 99 3-pointer and then they put the +1 arm sleeve on, and then they'll be like, oh, I have a 100 3-pointer. And like, you know, we used to think that it would never exceed 99 anyway. And same with like, I wouldn't make builds with 93 or like higher than 93 ratings typically, because if I have a slasher, then I'm always running slash take on, and I don't believe it's really worth to have 99 dunk in the first place for Hall of Fame finishing badges, because I feel really good with gold. You might as well just stay there, because obviously if you get slash take or anything in between that still boosts you up a little bit as well, then what's the point in having a 99 rating? So I'm glad to hear this. This gives a lot of life back to people with 99 rating builds. And you know, there's a lot of speculation under this tweet, like asking like, has it always been that way? And you could have like this guy respond, and yeah, I respect 2K Build Guru and stuff like that as well, but yes, ratings have been able to go over 99 with Takeover. I just don't believe that personally, and you know, some people do, some people don't. Like, and see, there's so much like questioning to this, as you can see. Just a lot of speculation. Even like J-Blake right here, as you can see, like I'm guessing what he did with this test right here is he put his mid-range down like a little bit, and it was getting boosted up to that, and if he had 99 3-pointer, it wasn't getting a green arrow at all. So that's why I'm also of the belief of stuff like that too. Not to mention, this doesn't feel like it either, but I don't know. Long story short, I'm glad to hear that this great news right here is in the game, and it will bring some life back to people that have 99 rated builds. I think that's fire for sure. So anyway, that is all for our little Takeover strand right here. I hope y'all enjoyed. We'll do the exact same thing on this as well when it comes to the, like, you know, slashing, shooting, playmaking, and defense and stuff like that. Talk about the mechanics of the game. I seen a lot of really good information on stuff like that, especially with the finishing, shooting. Playmaking even has really got a lot of interesting news as well with the pro play stuff as well. And obviously defense and ball handling kind of go hand in hand, because as a defender, your job is to contest everything to do with the ball handling and stopping the ball, or obviously playing passing lanes, and just playmaking and defense go hand in hand a lot is pretty much what I'm saying. So anyway, we will get to all that in another video. If you guys want these every day, let's try and crack 500 likes on the first day of the video being out. If not though, I'll probably just do it every other day, and we'll leave it at that. But if you want accelerated news and just like collecting this information in a really quick way, just try and get them to 500 likes in 24 hours, and boom, we'll drop them every single day, and we'll keep it as simple as that. So appreciate you guys. I really do look forward to getting on this grind for 24, and we're starting with this news dropping right here. So anyway, that's all for the video. Hope you all enjoyed. If you made it to the end of the video and you want to show support, just been all the way through, put Mike in the comments. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and take it easy, man. Peace.